Hello everybody and welcome back to another video for the day. We're going back into r/AmITheDevil because, yeah, some people really are the only ones that don't see themselves in the wrong when they do absolutely horrendous things and still have to ask the internet, hey, did I mess up? So if you guys would love to be absolutely amazing, show your support and see more videos like this one in the near future, be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment down below to start up them wholesome internet discussions. And if you guys have not already, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. I'm really appreciating the positive feedback that you guys like with these longer format storytime videos. So if I could do more of these, I feel like I'd very much like it a lot. I, 27M, embarrass my friend, 25M. How much space do I give him, and when do I reach out? TLDR, I told the girl at the bar my friend an embarrassing fact about my friend, and now he's ignoring me. Jackson, one of my closest and most successful friends, I don't want to dox him, so I won't say what he does, but he makes 110. Jack isn't selfish with his money. Jack isn't selfish with his money, and when we're going on a guy's trip, he will cover me partially. Because I can't afford stuff. I'm still figuring out my life. He is no contact with his parents, and so my parents bring him up to imply that I'm lazy. There's one area where he's nowhere close to me, and that's with women. When he purchased his house, I joked with him that it doesn't matter, he won't bring no women in here. One day, he opened up to me about saying that's a sensitive topic for him, because he's very insecure about himself. I'm not going to get into it unless it's important, but it impacts his relationship and self-esteem. Fast forward to Memorial Day weekend. On Saturday, we drive down to Virginia Beach, and we spend the weekend there. We went to this bar area, and he told me, that girl right there is stunning. I might actually say something. That girl had rejected me before he came in. We had split up and then came together. I didn't tell him that she already rejected me. I said go for it and stood close enough so that I could hear. He approaches her extremely nervous and stuttering his words. It was pathetic. At first, she was kind of weirded out by it, but he said something. I'm really sorry, I don't usually do, but you're just stunning and I'm sorry for bothering you. And then he started walking away, but somehow that flattered her, and she signaled for her friend to move seats. She carries the beginning part of the conversation, and afterwards, his nerves seemed to go away and they were joking and laughing, and she laid her head on his shoulder. She is from where we live, and she was giving him hints by telling him fun things to do on a first date, and how she's free June 2nd. I walked over and interrupted them, and said that he's a great guy, and said the very personal things that he told me. He told me to go away, but after that, she completely lost interest. She kind of makes an excuse to the conversation and to not go on the first date. He thanked her for her time and walked out. Afterwards, she walks up to me and tells me I'm a freaking a-hole, and that she clocked that I was an a-hole. How my friend deserves better than people like me is his life who humiliate him. I said I'm an a-hole, but you did reject him, and he poured her drink on me and called me a jerk and walked away. I was furious, but just left. I get back to my hotel and just decide to call it a night. In the morning, I get a text from Jack saying, just so you know, to not be looking for me, I'm back at Tyson's. Somehow, he got from Virginia Beach to his place in Tyson's Corner, Virginia. I asked how he got home, and he didn't reply. I spend that Sunday and Monday by myself. I constantly text him, but no replies. He deleted me off of Instagram and Snapchat. I thought about going to his place, but you need to be buzzed in. Yeah, I can guarantee you, your butt is not being allowed in. So let me see what I got here. Okay, so your friend very much was able to work up the courage to talk to a girl that he found attractive. So for some reason, because she already rejected you, you felt the need to tell very personal things about your friend to this girl who, from the looks of it, was starting to become very interested in them and might be able to get the date, like I stated before, the one that rejected you. And now you're wondering why your friend don't want to talk to you. Gee, I wonder frickin' why. Look, you had that drink poured on you justified, very much so, dude. If someone did that to me, I know for shit sure I wouldn't want to talk to them either. Working up the courage to ask somebody out and just start talking to somebody can be very difficult. I'm Ev26. I'm torn. My boyfriend, M30, or older guy, M43. Alright, yeah, you already know where this one's going. This is gonna be frickin' lovely. I, 26F, love my boyfriend, 30M, but he is so money conscious. I'm Asian, and my boyfriend is European. I really love my boyfriend. We met on a live streaming app, and he came to my country first to visit me. Then, after 4 months, I came to his country to visit him. When he came to visit me, I paid for our Airbnbs and the motorcycle we rented for 7 days, some of our meals. He paid for our flight and some meals and our hotel in Palawan for 7 days. I'm earnings in peso, but I didn't complain about the expenses. It was my turn to visit him in Europe, Germany, and I had to pay for my flight. My first day there, he bought me a train ticket that's good for a week, which was 26 euros. He started saying, the train ticket is expensive. It's 26 euros and is only good for a week. At first, I didn't mind it. Then we ate at McDonald's. I paid for it. It was like 27 to 28 euros. He started saying, oh, with this amount, I can make the 16 burgers already. I still didn't mind. The next few days passed, and we bought marinated steaks at the grocery store for 33 euros. So, the day came, we planned to cook the steaks, but I accidentally put it in the freezer, so it was as hard as stone. He got very mad and said that it won't taste good, and that he had to work for 2 hours to pay for those steaks. He makes 21 euros per hour. This one, I felt very, very bad. Next, it was my last day in Germany. We went to this ramen place. One bowl of ramen was 16 euros. He started saying, this is like 16 euros per bowl. It's freaking expensive. Dookie. I felt very bad because it was my last day, and it's like we didn't really do anything or had eaten yet. In the end, when he went to the bathroom, I got the bill and paid for our bill. On the way home, he had to buy me another ticket for the train for 3 euros, and he started saying, the ticket is expensive. Before it was like 1 euro or something, so at this point, I'm not sure what he is implying. I get it, everything is expensive in Europe. Also, eating out, but I'm not sure if this is normal or I don't know. Ever since I got back from the trip, I have been reflecting and thinking, is this the guy I want to be with forever? He is so money conscious. I remember this video I saw on social media, and he said, if you're on a date, or you're eating out with your special person, never ever make comments about the price. And he said if the guy is making money comments, it's not gonna get better in the future. This one I will never forget. So, I'm not sure if this is still worth it to continue. My parents know him already, pretty much most of my family members. When I got to Germany, he bought me a skincare and toiletries for me to use. He also bought me a coat, and he would pay for our groceries, but that's it. I'm grateful for it. With the older guy, we've been friends for 6 years now. No, my boyfriend does not know about him. This older guy spoils me. He admitted that he likes me. He has a leg injury, making it hard for him to walk. I'm just torn. With my boyfriend, it's so hard for me to request/say something. Like, if I want to eat at this restaurant, I'm worried he will complain about the price. With his older guy, I can tell him anything like that I want to eat, and he will find it for me. And I don't have to worry about anything. He doesn't let me pay and thinks about my family too. I don't have anything against going 50-50, but I realize it's draining me. Okay, so you do have a problem with 50-50. It made me realize that if I continue with my boyfriend, if we get married in the future, and say something happened to me, let's say financial problem, I would face it alone. He will just be there to support emotionally. In this economy, I won't lie, I want to be practical, but at the same time, I want to marry the one I love. So let me get this straight. You're trying to bring up the fact constantly that your boyfriend happens to be bringing up the price and is not exactly happy with the stuff that being expensive and all, but at the same time, you said he got you a coat, right? I don't think just because stuff is expensive that justifies cheating on them. The real kicker to this all is, clicking on the original post, you can see her just trying to constantly justify her actions in it all. Like, no joke, you can very much see that she is falling into the category of gold digger just because she's very much thinking about leaving her boyfriend because this other person, oh, yeah, they have money. The way I see things, and from my own personal experience, unfortunately, there is no justification to ever cheat on your significant other. You're going against an agreement that you guys have from the beginning, and very much if you go against that agreement, and for some reason you happen to see yourself in the right, you deserve all of the bad karma that's coming to you. Because I can guarantee you, when you do find out that your partner cheats on you, you're gonna get messed up in the head and you're gonna lose some sleep. A lot of sleep, actually. My negligence cost my partner her life, and I'm about to lose everything. I, 35M, have been married to Lisa, 28F, for 3 years, together for 7. A year ago, I fell deeply in love with Amy, 24F, and had been planning to end my marriage for her. I know it's terrible, and not what my wife deserves, but we were the real thing. I already do not like you, dude, and what do you mean with that title? 2 weeks ago, she had an allergic reaction when we were getting food after work, but she used her EpiPen and seemed mostly okay afterwards. She usually gets checked in at the hospital after a reaction, but I asked if I could take her home and she could get her friend to drive her there because my wife was expecting me back. All I know is that she had a secondary reaction that evening and died. I didn't even find out about it until the following Monday, through a work email. It had been eating me up ever since, and I will never forgive myself for not sacrificing an hour of my time to possibly save her. I sent some childish message to Amy when I didn't hear from her over the weekend because I thought that she was angry I didn't take her to the hospital. I am thankful that she never saw them and ashamed that I assumed the worst. Our relationship was great and the highs far outweighed the lows, but I have always hated being ignored and I lose my cool. When it happens, it is not a regular occurrence and I would have more than made it up for her. Yesterday at work, HR and legal were there in the CEO's office all day, and my manager ended up canceling our project meeting because he was with them all afternoon. I was on edge, but an affair isn't exactly a corporate crisis, and I thought something would have already happened if anyone knew. I am now 99% certain it was about me. A few hours ago, I received a message from Amy's phone which said, "This is Amy's brother, Tom. I want you to know it was me." I tried to call, but it went straight to voicemail, and none of my messages have been delivered. I tried to call my manager more times than I should have, and he sent a message back saying, "Please don't contact me until Monday morning. I can't discuss anything with you right now." So it looks like my universe is going to collapse. I am going to be fired, and my wife will definitely find out why. All I can do is hope that Amy's brother only showed them the messages from that weekend, and they were bad enough. I have no family except my wife and daughter, and nowhere to go. All of my friends are either people I've met through my wife or my colleagues. On Monday, everything I've spent over a decade working towards disappears. I can't stop it. I can't talk to anyone about it. So here I am. I know cheaters are the devil, so I'm not expecting sympathy. Oh, that's good, because you ain't going to be getting shit. But this is making my chest hurt, and I need to get out of here. Hey, you know what maybe you should have done? You should have taken that initial message like you should have done with that person who had the allergic reaction and, go to the hospital. Or what do you want to do? Are you going to try to say, I'm perfectly fine on this one also? Yeah, you've had a great track record with that, huh? Like I quite literally just stated a couple of minutes ago, I am not a fan of anybody that cheats, nor trying to justify it, but you know, God forbid you happen to try to make this about you and your life being ruined. Last I checked, you still have your life! A simple EpiPen is not a one and done, you're perfectly fine, let's get back on with the day kind of thing. It helps keep you alive, but that don't mean you shouldn't go to the hospital afterwards. EpiPens are kind of needed to, you know, keep you alive and shit, so regardless, if you have an allergic reaction that requires an EpiPen, go to the frickin' hospital. And don't let anybody say, oh, come on, I don't want to go. No, here's the thing. If you need to go to the hospital to stay alive, go to the hospital and stay alive. Screw what else other people's plans are. Don't have them say, oh, you'll be fine, you'll walk it off. No. Am I the a-hole for expecting my stepchildren to do more housework? I have an 8-year-old son with my ex-husband, and my husband has an 11-year-old son and a 14-year-old daughter with his ex-wife. My son is helpful and independent and has a chore chart. He does all of his own self-care chores, tidies and cleans his own room, does his own laundry, makes his own snacks, lunch, and breakfast. He also does a lot of household chores, loading and unloading the dishwasher, feeding the dog, helping making dinner, etc. My stepchildren are less inclined to help around the house or even do their own personal chores. For the most part, my husband and I raise our own kids and have firm boundaries on disciplining and parenting each other's kids. I have a good relationship with my stepkids. If I ask my stepchildren to do certain chores, they will sometimes do it, and other times they'll say they'll do it later and never get back to it. This often ends up with me having to nag them or do it myself. My husband will rarely ask his kids to do any chores. He won't even make them do their own laundry and does it himself. Sometimes I have to do it because it gets so backed up. They don't have any clean clothes to wear. The 11-year-old's room is always a mess, and I regularly have to go in there to get dirty cups and plates. In December, I got so sick of the state of it, I made social services help me clean and tidy. Later that day, my husband came home from work, and we had been cleaning for over an hour. He essentially told me it wasn't my business to make his son clean his room. He said it was his space, and he was able to treat it how he likes. I am tired of having to do so much of the housework when it would be quicker and easier for the kids to pitch in more. My husband does do some housework, but as he works full-time and I only work part-time, I take on the bulk of it. Recently, I asked my husband if we could get together as a family and make a chore chart for all of the kids, so that his kids can take on some extra responsibility. I even wanted to make it so that the kids could earn rewards for doing extra chores to give them an incentive. He was against this. While I believe that chores are important ways to contribute to the family unit and learn necessary skills for adulthood, my husband does not agree. He was raised in a very strict home, and both him and his ex-wife believe in a more free-range parenting style for their kids. He thinks kids shouldn't be burdened with any chores, and that he doesn't want his kids to spend their limited free time doing chores that don't interest them. He also doesn't think it will be hard for them to pick up those skills later in life. He thinks that I'm an a-hole for continuing to bring up his kids doing chores, and that if I do make them do more chores, they'll just want to spend more time at their mom's house. He told me I'd be in danger of becoming a stereotypical wicked stepmother if I push chores on the kids. Am I the a-hole? Yeah, you know, way to go, just trying to use the whole chores thing to gloss over the fact that the kid also then does pretty much everything else for themselves, like feeding themselves. You said that your husband works full-time, and you work part-time, so that means that you're home a lot more than he is, right? Why aren't you helping out the kids? Cleaning up after yourselves? Yeah, that one very much the kids could get the hang of, you know, not leaving dirty plates in your rooms. That one's not good. You can get bugs, rodents, all nasty stuff when you get that. Yet the part that's still sticking to me and put you in the a-hole-ish light is not really the chores thing, but it's the fact that the kid is making more than half of their own meals because you don't want to take care of them like that because they're not your kids. That don't sound right at all. Am I the a-hole for sending an email to the rest of the family about sister-in-law's behavior on vacation? My husband and I decided to bring our 2 kids to Disney World for 4 days, now that they are old enough to appreciate it. My husband and I are not in the best of shape, so we decided to invite his sister and her husband along with us, as 2 separate rooms. We assumed that we would spend our time in the parks together since it was after a family vacation. The first day in the park, we all did a few attractions together, but then when we went to bring the kids to meet some of the characters, she said that she and her husband had other things in the park that they wanted to do, and would meet back up with us, and we didn't see them until dinner after we watched the fireworks together, and then went back to the hotel. The second day, we went to Epcot, and they stuck around us until the afternoon, but then split up with us again to drink around the world. When we met up with them for dinner, they were clearly very tipsy in front of the kids. Very mature. When we got back to the hotel that night, I knocked on their door after the kids were asleep. I asked them if they were going to spend any time with the family on this vacation, and told them running around an amusement park with kids all day is exhausting, and we could use some help. She claimed that the time they were spending with us was enough, but they wanted to do their own thing too. She made a rude comment that she didn't take days off to work to be our babysitter. The next 2 days, we didn't speak to them at all, and they did their own thing, and we did ours with our kids. We didn't see them again until the flight home, which was awkward. I was so upset that they ruined the experience for our kids, who were looking forward to spending time with their aunt, that when I got home, I wrote the email with our immediate family about the experience, and at the end, I told them that it was the reason we would be going low contact with SIL. I included SIL in the email sent, and I went to sleep. I woke up to a ton of angry texts from husband's family calling me ridiculous. I just assumed that she would spend time with family on family vacation, and clearly does not know the value of family. Yes, you know, because the way you definitely made it sound like totally doesn't sound like you invited them on the trip for the sole purpose of looking after your kids. Is the thing, if you take your family on a vacation, you're supposed to be spending time with your family. Yeah, don't you know, that's what extended family's for, to, you know, help you take care of your kids, even though you're very much inviting them on a trip to Disney World, but you very much want them to be taking care of your kids for you. Lo and behold, a bit of a news flash, the people happen to go to Disney World for stuff that doesn't involve kids sometimes. But with that, that is going to have to be it with the video. If you guys would love to be absolutely amazing, show your support, and see more videos like this one in the near future, be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment down below to start up them wholesome internet discussions, and if you guys have not already, subscribe to the channel and turn on them notifications. I'll be sure to see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and bye-bye!